Is it panic time? Is it panic time? I don't know. Kelsey Mitchell has Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever fans, all up in wraps about her post on Instagram. Is she planning to bail on this Indiana Fever team? Is she tired of hearing that this is Caitlin Clark's team and that is all that the people want and need? This is why the people are here.
Nobody expected this. The Indiana Fever just lost one of their biggest stars, Kelsey Mitchell. And the way it happened blindsided everyone, from players to fans. The timing, the silence, and the message behind it are raising eyebrows everywhere. What's your take? Did Kelsey make the right move or not? Let's get this straight. Kelsey Mitchell, one of the core players who helped carry the Indiana Fever through their roughest stretch, just dropped the mic and walked away. And the wild part, there wasn't even a dramatic buildup. No leaks, no cryptic tweets, just a quiet exit that hit harder than any trade rumor all season. For a franchise that's been fighting to rebuild its identity around Caitlin Clark, this is the last thing they needed. The Fever were this close to finally feeling like a stable team, and now they're right back in chaos mode. Let's start with why this matters so much. Kelsey Mitchell wasn't just another name on the roster. She was the steady hand when everything around the Fever fell apart. When Clark got injured mid-season, when the team's rotation got shredded by injuries, and when the critics said the Fever couldn't survive without their star, who was the one keeping them afloat? Kelsey. She didn't just fill a role, she redefined it. She went from being Caitlin's co-star to being the engine of the offense, and in doing so, she accidentally made herself the most valuable free agent the league wasn't prepared to lose. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a player leaving, this is a message to the Fever front office, the coaching staff, and maybe even the WNBA itself. Because according to multiple insiders, this move wasn't about money, it was about trust.
Mitchell absolutely lit it up this year. She was a beast. She was a first team all WNBA. She was scoring the ball at will. Nobody could stop her. She had one of her best statistical seasons. She averaged 20 points, 3 assists, and she nearly carried the Indiana Fever to the WNBA final. She literally played until her body locked up, till the wheels fell off. Kelsey Mitchell gave everything she had until the wheels fell off.
Let's go back a few months. The Fever's front office had one clear goal for the offseason: keep the core intact. That meant locking in Kelsey Mitchell early. But from the start, things got messy. Negotiations dragged, deadlines got missed. And while everyone assumed Kelsey was a guaranteed re-sign, the team kept delaying the deal, waiting for the CBA to finalize, waiting for cap numbers, waiting for clarity. Meanwhile, other teams were circling. Dallas, Las Vegas, even New York. Everyone saw the same thing: an proven scorer, reliable under pressure, and someone who didn't need the spotlight to perform. And here's where it really went wrong. When Caitlin Clark went down, Kelsey Mitchell carried that team, but instead of being praised as a leader, she got labeled replaceable. Multiple reports said the Fever's analytics team believed her playstyle didn't fit long-term with Caitlin's system. They thought she might get in the way. Yeah, tell that to the player who literally kept the team alive while your superstar was out. So when the offseason hit, the writing was already on the wall. The front office dragged its feet, hoping to re-sign her at a discount. But Kelsey wasn't having it. She knew her worth, she'd proven it, and now she's gone.
Go Alexa, then Rich.
Kelsey, this is a question kind of looking ahead, being a free agent, having an off season ahead of you. There's obviously uncertainty across the board, across the league. Have you put any thought into, what you think you might, wish for, 2026 for yourself, whether you'd like to be back or anything along those lines?
I hope we got a league. So for there, I hope that when it's all said and done, we can, have a season period for all the girls, for every person that's, aspirations to be in the league and be in a W. I think for one, that's the start, being on the same page with that. Bless you. Being on the same page for that and kind of just, making sure we have a league to start. No matter what happens, having a league is kind of big for us. And I think individually for me, I'm going to take my time, figure out what my family needs. Losing a parent is a big shift. And so, I take in consideration how my mom feels now. I take in consideration how my siblings and, my intermediate family, my dad's mom is still alive, my grandmother. And so that's big for me. And so, family is big for me. And so I think talking to them and figuring out what's best for us and for what I need internally is always going to be important. And I think that takes time. But I will say to Indiana Fever, like 8 years, it's gonna be a lot to talk about because I have so much love and so much aspiration for this place. And I think when the time is right, the great conversations will be had. But Indy is like my second family and everything I've been through the last 8 years. I don't think Indianapolis, Indiana. I don't think there's any other place that was greater for me, the growth and all that. So I think the right conversations will be had, and when it's time, I guess we'll all know.
Now let's talk timing, because this is what's blowing up social media. Her announcement dropped right in the middle of WNBA free agency chaos, right when fans thought all the drama was over. It wasn't just the decision, it was the silence leading up to it. No public farewell, no long letter to fans, just boom, gone. Fans instantly flooded comment sections. Some said it was about respect. Others think something deeper happened behind the scenes, like locker room tension, or issues with head coach Stephanie White's system. Honestly, both could be true. Remember, White runs a fast-paced, high-intensity system that pushes players to the limit. Great for short-term results, terrible for long-term health. Multiple players, including McDonald and Boston, have dealt with injuries that fans say were preventable. And Kelsey, she's been vocal in the past about load management and player safety. So if she felt like her concerns weren't being taken seriously, that could have been the final straw. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just a loss for Indiana. It's a warning shot to the league. Because if someone like Kelsey Mitchell, loyal, consistent, respected, can walk away from a team like the Fever, what does that say about how the WNBA is handling its stars? You've got league-wide frustration with officiating, CBA uncertainty freezing contracts, players talking about poor communication from leadership. It's starting to feel like a pattern, not a coincidence. And here's the scary part. The Fever might have just learned the wrong lesson. Instead of asking, why did we lose her? They might spin it as, now we can fully build around Caitlin. That's dangerous thinking, because Kelsey wasn't competition, she was balance. She was the safety valve when defenses trapped Caitlin, the shooter who kept spacing alive, the vet who stabilized Caitlin's presence. You don't replace that overnight, and that's why fans are angry, not just because she's gone, but because it feels avoidable. They had her, they just didn't appreciate her enough to keep her. Now there's another angle here that nobody's talking about. Kelsey's timing might actually be strategic. With the CBA talks stalling and salary numbers unclear, free agents have two choices: target tight and wait, or act early before chaos hits. Kelsey chose the second route. By moving now, she avoids getting trapped in a delayed market where owners free spend until new cap numbers drop. It's bold but smart, and it also sends a message to other players. If your team doesn't value you now, make your move before they can't afford to lose you later. Meanwhile, Fever fans are left wondering what happens next. Who replaces her production? Who steps up as the secondary scorer? Because without Kelsey, defenses will suffocate Caitlin every game. It's not a theory, we've seen it. When Clark was the only offensive threat, she got doubled, tripled, and thrown to the floor every night. And now, unless Indiana makes a big signing fast, that's exactly what's going to happen again. It's almost poetic. The same front office that claimed to be protecting their superstar might have just made her job twice as hard. The sad part is, Kelsey wasn't just another name. She was part of the Fever's identity, the quiet fighter who never asked for headlines, just wins. And now that she's gone, everyone's realizing what she meant. Even rival fans are posting appreciation tweets. You know it's bad when opposing fan bases start saying y'all didn't deserve her. So here we are. The Fever are heading into the offseason, missing a key piece. Their fans are restless, and Caitlin Clark, the face of the league, is going to have to do even more heavy lifting than before. That's not progress, that's regression, in a shiny New Jersey. And the craziest part, nobody saw it coming. No insider leaks, no late-night rumor mill. Nothing. Just a quiet, classy exit that left the entire WNBA community stunned. If this was a chess game, Kelsey Mitchell just made the smartest move on the board. Indiana never even saw the checkmate coming. The news hit the WNBA like a thunderclap. Within hours of Kelsey Mitchell's announcement, the internet turned into a full-blown debate zone. Was it money? Was it ego? Was it coaching? Nobody had answers, just theories, screenshots, and enough speculation to fuel an entire ESPN segment. But here's the one thing everyone agreed on. The Fever fumbled. Let's be real. If you're a franchise trying to build a dynasty around Caitlin Clark, the last thing you want is chaos around her. And yet, that's exactly what's happening. You'd think the front office would have learned something from last season's near collapse. Instead, they repeated the same mistake, underestimating the value of the players who made the team work while Clark was sidelined. And Kelsey's departure proves that loyalty has limits. You can grind, sacrifice, and carry the team through injuries, but if the organization treats you like a spare part, you're going to walk. Plain and simple. Now let's talk fallout. First, Caitlin Clark. This affects her more than anyone else. She's the face of the franchise, the marketing engine, and the league's biggest draw. But on the court, she needs help. She needs shooters, scorers, and veteran guards who can take pressure off. That was Kelsey Mitchell. You take her out of the picture, and suddenly Clark is back to being double-teamed every possession. The spacing gets worse, the tempo slows, and all those flashy passes turn into turnovers because there's no one left to finish plays. So yeah, this isn't just a roster change, it's a system collapse waiting to happen. And that's not an exaggeration. Even Fever insiders admitted privately that Mitchell was the glue. She kept the offense balanced when Clark was running off ball. She managed tempo, she calmed the team during panic runs. You can't just replace that with a draft pick and wishful thinking. Now let's look at the front office side. The Indiana Fever are in panic mode, though they won't admit it publicly. You'll see statements like, "We wish Kelsey the best and are confident in our direction moving forward." Translation, "We have no backup plan because the timing couldn't be worse." The CBA freeze means trades are stalled, free agents are hesitant, and salary numbers are in limbo. By the time everything opens up again, the top-tier guards will already be gone. Meanwhile, other teams are ready to pounce. Word around the league is that Dallas and Los Angeles are both keeping tabs on Mitchell. Dallas wants another consistent scorer next to Arike Ogunbowale, and LA just needs anyone who can get them out of basketball purgatory. And if either of them offers Mitchell a max deal with full control of the offense, yeah, she's gone for good. Which brings us to the million-dollar question: why didn't Indiana just pay her? Because it's never just about the money, it's about respect. When your star player gets hurt and your second-best player saves your season, you reward her, not question her fit. Instead, Indiana hesitated, and hesitation in pro sports is basically the same as rejection. And honestly, the players see it, the locker room sees it. They know when a team's loyalty runs one way. So when fans started tweeting things like "Don't be surprised if others follow her lead," they might not be wrong. It's the domino effect. You lose one cornerstone, the cracks start spreading fast. And what makes this worse? The optics. Because on the same day Kelsey's resignation hit the news, the league's commissioner was out giving another corporate speech about growing the game. Meanwhile, one of the league's most consistent players just walked away without a press conference. That right there sums up the WNBA's biggest problem: the disconnect between what they say and what actually happens. Fans want transparency, players want fair treatment, and instead what they get is confusion and PR spin. Kelsey's exit isn't just about Indiana, it's about how many players feel disposable the second a new star arrives. Now don't get it twisted. Caitlin Clark's presence is a blessing for the WNBA. But if every team that drafts a superstar starts treating their veterans like extras, we're headed for chaos. And Kelsey Mitchell might have just been the first to say, "No thanks." If anything, her exit could inspire other players to rethink loyalty. Because right now, loyalty doesn't pay the bills or protect your body from being overused in a broken system. So where does this leave Indiana? First thing is short, scrambling. They'll try to frame it as a new chapter, but everyone knows the truth. The Fever just lost their emotional leader, and they don't have a replacement lined up. The front office can bring in another shooter or draft a flashy name, but chemistry isn't something you can buy. And once that's gone, it's gone. Nobody saw this coming. Not fans, not analysts, not even teammates. Kelsey Mitchell walking away changes everything for the Fever, and maybe even the entire league. What do you think? Smart move or massive mistake? Let me know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss what's next. Fans are absolutely relentless in their discussion of this matter. Every forum, every sports podcast, every trending post on X is currently criticizing the league for transforming the very individual who has revitalized their ratings into a prime suspect. One fan's poignant comment perfectly captured the prevailing sentiment. So the woman who saved the WNBA is the same one they're investigating? Got it. That particular comment has been reshared thousands upon thousands of times because it articulates precisely what everyone is thinking. The most bewildering aspect of this whole ordeal is how utterly predictable it has become. The WNBA had a golden opportunity to address this situation with integrity and professionalism. They could have conducted a transparent investigation, held the referees genuinely accountable, and demonstrated to their fans that fairness and integrity are paramount. Instead, they opted for their standard playbook: confusion, deflection, and an unwavering commitment to protecting the brand. And in doing so, they have only managed to tarnish that brand further. Let's delve into the supposed internal review. Sources indicate that Kathy Engelbert has assembled a committee tasked with evaluating officiating consistency. It sounds rather impressive, doesn't it? That is, until you discover who actually comprises this committee. It appears to be populated by many of the same league insiders who were responsible for approving those very referees in the first place. Essentially, the referees are being investigated by the same individuals who hired them. This is akin to allowing a student to grade their own exam. And now that Caitlin Clark's name has been thrown into the mix, this so-called review has devolved into an absolute circus. Critics are already labeling it as a cover-up in the making. Some reports even suggest that the league is strategically leveraging Caitlin's immense popularity to shield itself, hoping that the ensuing controversy will morph into sensationalized drama content rather than an actual damaging scandal. Because after all, controversy equals clicks, right? Wrong. The fans are no longer willing to play that game. They have witnessed this narrative unfold too many times before. First, the league consistently ignores player complaints. Then, when the situation inevitably escalates, they call for patience while subtly shifting blame onto someone else. Finally, they announce changes that ultimately amount to little more than another press release that fails to address any substantive issues. It's a cyclical pattern of inaction and superficial solutions. However, this time, the public backlash feels profoundly different. Even casual sports enthusiasts, individuals who likely couldn't name more than 2 WNBA teams before this season, are now paying close attention. Because when a figure as prominent as Caitlin Clark becomes entangled in a supposed corruption probe that transcends mere sports news, it becomes a national conversation. And the league's most significant challenge, the internet never forgets. Every single missed call, every compilation of her being knocked to the floor, every awkward post-game interview is meticulously archived online. There are literally hours upon hours of visual evidence demonstrating the appalling inconsistency of the officiating. You can pause any game at any moment and clearly see the absurdity unfolding. Yet inexplicably, the official league stance remains that there is no evidence of wrongdoing. This is precisely why the fans are so incensed. They feel as though the league is actively gaslighting them. You cannot present us with an entire season's worth of egregious bad calls, consequential injuries and blatant bias, and then expect us to accept that it's all merely a series of unfortunate coincidences. That isn't data, that is profound delusion. Let's also consider the financial aspect, because ultimately, money is the connecting thread that ties everything together. Referees in the WNBA typically earn between $30,000 annually. If they're fortunate, perhaps the $1,000 per game. Meanwhile, players like Caitlin Clark, through endorsements and salary, are projected to earn millions. The financial disparity between those who enforce the rules and those who play under them is colossal. It's not difficult to imagine resentment brewing within the officiating ranks. Now, I am not making any accusations of game fixing, but when you have underpaid officials holding sway over the outcomes of multi-million-dollar matches, the inherent risk of corruption escalates dramatically. That is simply the reality of the situation, and the league is acutely aware of this. That's precisely why this investigation has even been initiated. However, instead of confronting the systemic issues head-on, they are conveniently diverting the spotlight onto Caitlin Clark. It's akin to blaming the fire alarm for the actual fire. Players across the league have also quietly expressed their profound frustration. Some articulate a deep-seated weariness of feeling as though the referees are dictating the outcomes of games rather than the players' performances on the court. Coaches are on edge, players are fed up, and now, the fans have effectively become citizen investigators themselves. One extensive online thread is meticulously tracking every referee who has officiated games involving Caitlin Clark, comparing their call patterns to matchups involving other players. The statistical discrepancies are, to put it mildly, not encouraging. Reports indicate that in games where Clark is playing, the foul discrepancies are nearly double the league average. Yet astonishingly, the WNBA continues to feign ignorance, insisting that this is all within the realm of normalcy. Normal? Absolutely nothing about this league has felt normal since Cathy Engelbert assumed leadership. Every significant controversy seems to trace its roots back to the same core leadership problem, an excess of pride and a profound lack of accountability. When players voice legitimate concerns about travel conditions, they are labeled as ungrateful. When fans express valid criticisms about officiating, they are dismissed as uninformed. And when Caitlin Clark dares to speak out, she is suddenly implicated as part of the problem. You simply could not script this scenario any worse. And while this internal turmoil continues to unfold, the league's credibility steadily erodes. Sponsors are growing increasingly apprehensive, journalists are digging deeper into the story, and fans are openly calling for Engelbert's resignation. Not so long ago, that was considered a fringe opinion. Now it's firmly entrenched in mainstream discourse. Even prominent sports talk show hosts are relentlessly dissecting and mocking the league for its tone-deaf and counterproductive response. One analyst eloquently summarized the prevailing sentiment. Instead of investigating Caitlin Clark, maybe investigate why half the fan base thinks your refs are corrupt. That particular statement went viral because it hit the absolute bullseye of truth. This isn't solely about Caitlin Clark. She is merely the lightning rod. The true underlying story is the profound structural breakdown that has plagued the WNBA. The referees are not trusted, the commissioner is not respected, and now even the players are being dragged into the league's internal scandals. This is not indicative of growth. It represents a slow-motion collapse. Meanwhile, organizations like the LPGA, the NCAA, and even the NBA are observing all of this unfold like a disastrous reality television program. Because if the WNBA continues on this path of self-destruction, it will inevitably cast a shadow over the efforts of everyone attempting to build and elevate women's sports. So the critical question remains, will the WNBA finally confront and rectify its pervasive referee crisis? Or will it continue to pretend that everything is perfectly fine, all while dragging Caitlin Clark through the mud? Because the fans have unequivocally made it clear, they are done being fooled. Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Please hit that like button if you are tired of this ongoing nonsense, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe for more candid insights and truth bombs about the chaos that is currently shaking the foundations of women's sports.